Chef Alex. Here we are in the Rancharrah kitchen. First off, I just want to take a quick second to thank all of our members for all of the positive feedback and support we've gotten for these meal kit programs. We've had a lot of fun doing it, and just all of the support we're getting really means a lot to us. We really appreciate it. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about one of the items we have available for this week. So for those of you that don't know, I have a special affinity for Asian food, particularly Japanese. So this week, we wanted to give you the ability to make restaurant quality ramen at home, delicious and easy. So let me show you what that looks like. So here we have our kit. We have 4 packs of fresh ramen noodles. So what makes ramen noodles different from a standard noodle is they are alkaline. That's what gives them their special chew, their special spring, and so they don't dissolve in the broth. I've spent a lot of time perfecting my ramen noodle recipe. In here we have some soft-boiled eggs, marinated in a little bit of soy and mirin, so salty, sweet, nice amount of spring, nice and runny. Then here, let me spread this out. So we have our eggs here. This is chashu pork belly. So this is pork belly that's been marinated in soy and mirin again. And then this is cooked sous vide for 12 hours. So it's perfectly steaky, meaty, juicy, tender. And then here we have all of our noodles. And then garnishes. You have quite a few options here. So we have nori, seaweed. This is kamaboko, so this is fish cake. It's really pretty. I'll be honest, it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. It's just kind of sweet, springy, chewy. It doesn't taste like fish. We have a little bit of togarashi. This is a Japanese 7-spice mix, in case you like a little bit of heat. Scallions, necessary, in my opinion. And then in here, this is a black garlic oil. So black garlic has a really unique umami flavor. It's really hard to describe, but it adds a huge layer of depth and sweetness and richness and earthiness. It's a really great product. And then your broth is going to come like this. So this doesn't look like a lot of broth, but we're sending, and for the sake of packaging, we're sending this concentrated. So what you're going to want to do is pour this into a pot and then fill this again with water and bring that up to a boil, and that's going to be about perfect. You can use less water if you want it more salty, or vice versa. So let me show you how we're going to plate this up. This is going to be, we tried to make this as easy as possible. So drop our noodles in here. Use your chopsticks that you totally keep on your shoulder at all times, like me, right? If you don't have one of these, you can very easily use one of these. This just is a little easier for me. All right, we're gonna boil these. So since these noodles are fresh, they are gonna go pretty darn quickly. So assemble a bowl. We want a nice big bowl here. I'm gonna go crank up the broth a bit right here. And we're just gonna give this a little bit of time. So I'll talk about the broth a little bit. So this is shoyu tonkatsu style. So this is a slow-cooked pork bone broth. The shoyu means that it's seasoned with soy sauce. So this since it's cooked for so long and the bones are just so rich, the broth has an almost creamy consistency. It's very rich, very savory, very delicious. This is my favorite style, and this is actually the style of ramen that's kind of popularized artisan ramen here in the United States. So our noodles are almost done here. They go very quickly. I like mine with a lot of chew. All right, so let me go get our broth. I should also add that when you have the cold broth, it's gonna look a little separated at first, but once you bring it up to a rolling boil, it'll all come right back together. So in our bowl with the broth here. Try not to make as big of a mess as I just did. And then you really want to get as much of that water off as you can. Go into our broth. Now if you want to be fancy, you can pick the broth up, or the ramen noodles up and lay them back over themselves. Let's take one of our eggs here. Nice and soft. A thin knife helps to cut this in half, or you can just throw it in whole. It doesn't really matter. Ooh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. And we're gonna lay that in here, all nice. So the pork belly, you can throw it in the broth and it'll warm up in the broth just fine. I like to give it a nice little sear. It's fully cooked, so it doesn't take much. We're gonna just lay that in here. A couple sheets of our nori. Shove into the side here. And now things are getting fun. So we're gonna take some of this black garlic oil. It's really delicious. And spoon that right over the top. And just to finish, we're gonna hit it with a couple pieces of kamaboko. I really enjoy these just for the texture, and you know, it's colorful, it's pretty. Scallions. I like a lot of scallions, but it's up to you. And then, for those of you that like a little kick, togarashi. Just all over the whole thing. This stuff isn't very spicy, but it's got a great flavor. And that's it. That's all you have to do. And that is your finished bowl of restaurant quality shoyu tonkotsu ramen.